practitioners. Firmly cut off the stream of desire. Let go of craving for the body. When you truly understand that all things arise and pass away, you will come to know the state of great freedom. That never fades. Desire has no end. The more we try to satisfy it, the more it unsettles the mind. Even after one wish is fulfilled, another soon takes its place. When we deeply understand that all things arise and pass away, attachment gradually begins to lose its hold. The less we cling, the closer we come to true freedom and lasting peace. Today, gently let go of one desire that has been holding your mind. The more we release, the freer the heart becomes, and the deeper our peace grows. When a practitioner reaches the farther shore through the twofold path, all bonds fall away. From that wise one, to cross a river, we need the strength not to be carried away by the current. The same is true when crossing the river of suffering. When wisdom and practice grow together, the mind can pass beyond the waves of affliction. As long as we are bound by attachment and craving, anxiety and worrying remain. But when we see clearly and practice sincerely, those bonds gradually lose their power. Today, take a quiet moment to reflect on what is holding you back. Awareness is the beginning of freedom. When wisdom and practice walk together, the mind crosses the river of suffering. One who has neither the shore nor the farther shore, who is free from fear and free from bondage, that one I call a true practitioner. The mind is always dividing things, this and that, good and bad. The more we cling to these distinctions, the more fear and anxiety arise. When we let go of the craving to possess and the fear of losing, the mind gradually becomes free. When there is nothing left to cling to, an unshakable peace naturally appears. Today, take a quiet moment to look at one fear within your heart, just as it is. Awareness is the first step toward letting go. As our attachments fade, the mind becomes freer. True peace begins with letting go. One whose mind is steady, who lives in peace without conflict, who has completed what must be done and is free from affliction, who has reached the highest goal. That one I call a true practitioner. True peace is not a life without challenges, but a mind that remains steady through every situation. The less we are shaken by craving and resentment, the weaker our afflictions become. When we faithfully do what needs to be done, without clinging to the outcome, the heart grows lighter. Stillness is not something far away. It grows quietly through a mind that is upright each day. Today, focus not on the result, but on the task before you. A steady and unwavering mind creates a peaceful life. The sun shines by day, the moon shines by night. Warriors shine in their armor, and practitioners shine through meditation. But the Buddha shines always, with the radiant light of boundless compassion. Everything in this world has its own way of shining. Some shine through strength, while others are admired for their talent or achievements. But the light that endures the longest comes from compassion and wisdom. A kind heart and a life lived with integrity shine naturally without seeking attention. That light brightens not only our own lives, but the hearts of those around us. Today, brighten someone's day with one small act of kindness. A compassionate heart is the warmest light the world can ever know. One is called a practitioner because one has turned away from evil. One is called a practitioner because one's conduct is calm and peaceful. One is called one who has gone forth because one has cleansed away all defilements. True practice is not revealed by outward appearance, but by the state of the heart and the way we live. When we turn away from unwholesome thoughts and guide our words and actions wisely, our lives gradually become clearer. As greed, hatred, and ignorance are washed from the mind, our actions grow calmer, and we naturally bring peace to those around us. True practice begins with transforming ourselves Today, try letting go of one unwholesome thought that has been lingering in your mind. The clearer the heart becomes, the clearer life itself becomes. A peaceful mind is the true path of practice. Do not strike a practitioner. Even when struck, a practitioner does not strike back. Misfortune comes to one who harms a practitioner, but misfortune also comes to one who responds with anger. Anger may seem to be directed towards someone else, but it first burns the one who holds it. Harming others brings suffering, and holding on to resentment also brings suffering to ourselves. Emotions naturally arise, but we do not have to be ruled by them. When we recognize our anger and learn to calm it, the mind gradually returns to peace. Today, if anger begins to arise, pause for a moment and simply observe your mind. The strength to overcome anger is greater than the strength to overcome another person. When a practitioner restrains the mind from the pursuit of sensual pleasures, great is the reward. The less one harbors thoughts of harming others, the more suffering comes to an end. When we chase only momentary pleasures, the mind is easily drawn into craving. The stronger our desires become, the farther true contentment seems, and the deeper our suffering grows. Likewise, thoughts of hatred or the wish to harm others hurt ourselves before they hurt anyone else. As we let go of craving and resentment, the mind becomes lighter, and peace naturally begins to arise. Today, when desire or anger appears, pause for a moment and quietly observe it. Awareness is the beginning of peace. The more we learn to govern the mind, the less suffering remains, and the deeper our peace becomes. One who commits no evil through body, speech, or thought, and who wisely restrains all three, that one I call a true practitioner. Our lives are shaped by what we do, what we say, and what we think. When these three are guided wisely, our lives naturally follow the right path. When we care for our thoughts, our words become gentler, and our actions more mindful. As these small practices grow, the mind becomes clearer, and a peaceful life begins to flourish. Today, pause before you speak, and reflect before you act. Caring for body, speech, and mind is the first step on the path of true practice. From whomever you have learned it, the teaching spoken by the fully awakened one, honor that person with deep respect. Just as a practitioner reveres the sacred fire in a ritual, true wisdom is measured not by who teaches us, but by what we learn and how faithfully we put it into practice. When we cherish those who guide us toward the truth, our appreciation for learning grows even deeper. A humble heart is the best foundation for receiving new understanding. Those who value learning continue to grow day by day, and their lives are guided in the right direction. Today, take a moment to remember someone who has shared wisdom with you and offer them your gratitude. A humble willingness to learn is the first step toward growing in wisdom. One does not become a true practitioner by hairstyle, family, or birth. One who possesses truth and lives by the truth, who dwells in peace, that one is truly called a practitioner. A person's worth is not determined by appearance or by the family into which they were born. What matters most is the way we live and the heart we cultivate. Those who follow the truth and walk the right path naturally bring peace through their lives, even without seeking recognition. True practice is revealed not by outward status, but by the mind and the actions that flow from it. Today, look beyond appearances and take a moment to examine your own heart. A sincere and truthful heart is what makes a life truly beautiful. Foolish one, what use is your hairstyle? What will you gain by wearing robes of skin? Within you is a tangled forest of defilements, while only the outside is carefully adorned. Outward appearances can always be decorated, but the heart cannot be hidden. more important than fine clothing or an impressive appearance, is letting go of greed, hatred, and ignorance. Rather than making the outside beautiful, we should devote ourselves to making the mind pure. That is what truly gives life its beauty. Real transformation does not begin with how others see us, but with the way we shape our own hearts. Today, look beyond your outward appearance and quietly examine your mind. A pure heart is more beautiful than any outward adornment. Clad in worn and tattered robes, lean, with sinews plainly visible, dwelling alone in the forest, deeply absorbed in meditation. That one I call a true practitioner. These words are not about wearing rough clothing or living alone. They point instead to a life of letting go of craving and cultivating the mind. Time spent in solitude is not an escape from the world, but an opportunity to look deeply within. The more quietly we observe ourselves, the clearer the mind becomes, and the more our afflictions begin to fade. Today, set aside a few quiet moments to simply watch the movements of your mind. A peaceful and still mind is where true practice begins. One does not become a true practitioner by family lineage or social status. One who possesses nothing and is free from attachment. That one I call a true practitioner. A person's worth is not determined by birth, status, or family name. What matters most is not what we possess, but what we no longer cling to. Happiness does not grow from having more. It grows as we let go of attachment and become inwardly free. True practice is not defined by social standing, but by a life that releases craving and walks the right path. Today, take a quiet moment to reflect on what you are still holding on to. The less we cling, the lighter and freer the heart becomes. One who has cut off every bond, who is free from fear, and who has gone beyond attachment. That one I call a true practitioner. What binds our hearts is often not the world around us, but our own craving, attachment, and fear. The more we fear losing or long for more, the more unsettled the mind becomes. But as we gradually let go of our attachments, our fears begin to fade as well. A mind that clings to nothing remains peaceful in every situation. True freedom begins not in the outside world, but within our own hearts. Today, quietly let go of one attachment that has been holding you back. The more we release, the freer the heart becomes. One who has cut off the cords, the ropes, and the chains, along with the bonds of attachment, who has removed all obstacles and awakened. That one I call a true practitioner. The cords and chains mentioned here represent the attachments and afflictions that bind the mind. Invisible desires and fears often become the heaviest burdens we carry in life. As we cut away these bonds, one by one, the mind becomes lighter, and the obstacles that block our path begin to disappear. True awakening is not something far away. It begins the very moment we let go of attachment. Today, quietly release one thought that has been binding your mind. The more we let go of our bonds, the freer the heart becomes. One who endures insults, abuse, and imprisonment without giving rise to anger. One who possesses the powerful army of patience. That one I call a true practitioner. Patience does not mean silently enduring everything. It is the strength to master the mind when we are hurt and immediately respond with anger. Our suffering only grows deeper. But when we recognize the emotions that arise and observe them calmly, the mind gains a strength that cannot easily be shaken. Patience is not weakness. It is the greatest courage of overcoming oneself. Today, if something troubles your mind, try observing it for a moment before reacting. The patience that overcomes anger is the greatest strength for protecting the heart. One who is free from anger fulfills their responsibilities, led by moral discipline with a pure and spotless mind, and for whom this life is the last. That person I call a true practitioner. A true practitioner is not recognized by special robes or outward appearance. It is revealed in a life that masters anger, faithfully fulfills one's responsibilities, upholds moral discipline, and keeps the mind clear and pure. That is the true mark of spiritual practice. More often than in life's great challenges, we lose our composure in its smallest moments. Each day we restrain anger, do what needs to be done, and remain true to our conscience. Our minds gradually become freer and more peaceful. May you spend today with a clear and tranquil mind, like a drop of water on a lotus leaf, or a mustard seed balanced on the tip of a needle, one who clings to no desire. That person I call a true practitioner. A drop of water does not remain on a lotus leaf, and a mustard seed easily falls from the tip of a needle. In the same way, a mind free from attachment is not held captive by the temptations of the world. The more we try to satisfy desire, the more it grows. The more we let go, the lighter the heart becomes. Rather than struggling to hold on, wisdom lies in knowing how to release. That is what leads to a life of peace. Today, try letting go of just one desire and begin your day with a lighter heart. One who knows that all suffering in this world has come to an end, who has laid down every heavy burden, and whose mind remains serene and unattached. That person I call a true practitioner. What weighs most heavily on the heart is not the world itself, but greed, attachment, hatred, and fear. When we lay down these burdens, the mind becomes lighter and peace naturally arises. The weight of life often comes not from the world around us, but from what we continue to hold on to. The more we let go of what no longer needs to be carried, the freer our hearts become, and the more deeply peace stays with us. Today, set down one burden from your heart and take your next step with a lighter spirit, one who is deeply wise and discerning, who clearly distinguishes the right path from the wrong, and who has reached the highest goal. That person I call a true practitioner. True wisdom is not found in knowing many things, but in clearly recognizing what is right and what is wrong, and living accordingly. Wisdom guides the heart toward the right direction. Whenever life presents us with a crossroads, each day we face countless choices. When we choose what is right over immediate gain and follow our conscience rather than our desires, the mind discovers a peace that cannot easily be shaken. Small acts of righteousness, repeated day by day, gradually transform the direction of our lives. May today be a day in which you choose the right path with the eyes of wisdom, whether living as a householder or as one who has gone forth into the homeless life, one who is attached to nothing, content with little, and lives in freedom. That person I call a true practitioner. True practice is not determined by where one lives, whether in the midst of the world or in the solitude of the mountains. The true mark of a practitioner is a mind that is not carried away by attachment or desire. What binds us is often not our home or the people around us, but the attachments we hold within. The more we let go of the desire to possess, the lighter our hearts become, allowing us to remain peaceful wherever we are. Today, try letting go of one desire and cherish the freedom of a heart that is at ease, whether weak or strong, one who uses no violence toward any living being, who neither kills nor causes another to kill. That person I call a true practitioner. True practice is not about overcoming others through strength, but about cultivating a heart that treasures every living being. Compassion that does not mistreat, even the smallest, form of life is one of the deepest virtues of a true practitioner. A heart that respects life brings warmth to the world. Even a single word or a small action can become a wound to someone else. When we choose not to harm, our words grow gentler and our actions become kinder. Compassion is not found in grand gestures, but in the choices we make each moment. Today, may you put into practice one act of kindness for all living beings, though living among those who harbor hatred. One is free from hatred, though living among the violent. One's mind remains peaceful, though living among those attached to desire. One remains unattached. That person I call a true practitioner. The world may be harsh, but that does not mean we must become harsh as well. A person who is not swept away by the hatred and anger of others, but instead preserves a peaceful heart, is walking the path of true practice. We live each day among people with different thoughts, emotions, and ways of life, rather than being carried away by the words and actions of others. What matters most is to first look within our own hearts. A steady mind does not lose its peace, no matter the circumstances, and that inner calm quietly spreads to those around us. Today, may you keep a peaceful heart in every situation, one from whom greed, anger, pride, and hypocrisy have fallen away completely. Like a mustard seed slipping from the tip of a needle, that person I call a true practitioner. Greed clouds the mind, and anger brings suffering to both ourselves and others. Pride and hypocrisy conceal our true nature and lead us away from a peaceful life. Spiritual practice is the gradual process of letting go of these defilements. One by one, as desire fades, the heart grows lighter. As anger is brought under control, our relationships become gentler. When we stop trying to elevate ourselves and simply see ourselves as we truly are, the mind becomes clearer and freer. Letting go of even a single defilement can be the beginning of profound transformation. Today, try releasing one burden from your heart, and may it lead you to a day of greater peace. One who speaks without harshness or vulgarity, who speaks words that are truthful and clear, and whose speech does not hurt the hearts of others. That person I call a true practitioner. Words are the closest expression of the heart. Speaking the truth is important, but when truth is accompanied by kindness and compassion, it can truly reach another person's heart. True practice is revealed even through the words we speak. A single warm word can comfort a wounded heart, while a harsh word can leave a pain that lingers for a long time. The habit of pausing to think before speaking brings peace and ease to both ourselves and others. Today, may you share peace with those around you through words that are both truthful and gentle, whether long or short, whether small or large, whether pure or impure. One who does not take what is not given. That person I call a true practitioner. A true practitioner does not desire or take what belongs to others, regardless of whether something is great or small. The mind that does not take what has not been given arises from honesty and inner peace. There are times when even small gains can cause our hearts to waver. Yet one who maintains a righteous mind values living with integrity more than acquiring possessions. When we let go of greed, the heart becomes free. Today, try releasing one small desire and live with a clear and honest heart. One who desires nothing in this world or the next, who lives without expectation and is attached to nothing. That person I call a true practitioner. Attachment always begins with desire and expectation. When we fail to obtain what we want, we suffer, and even after gaining it, we fear losing it. A true practitioner is not bound to any outcome, but quietly accepts life just as it is. The greater our expectations, the greater our disappointments can become. When the heart is free from grasping, even the smallest joy becomes a source of gratitude, and we are not easily shaken when life unfolds differently than we had hoped. Learning to let go of attachment is the first step toward a peaceful life. Today, try letting go of one expectation and embrace the day just as it is. One who is free from all attachment, who has realized the truth completely and is free from doubt, and who has attained the deathless state. That person I call a true practitioner. Attachment binds the heart, and doubt unsettles the mind. One who sees things exactly as they are, no longer shaken by uncertainty, goes beyond fear and attachment, and abides in profound peace. We often exhaust ourselves, worrying about an unknown future and wrestling with endless questions. Yet when we live this present moment with wisdom and integrity, our anxieties gradually fade and the mind becomes clearer and more serene. The more we let go of attachment and doubt, the closer lasting peace comes into our lives. Today, choose trust over doubt and letting go over attachment. One who has let go of attachment to both good and evil in this world, who is free from sorrow, pure and undefiled, that person I call a true practitioner. True practice is not about exalting oneself for doing good or judging others for doing wrong. A mind that has gone beyond all attachment is no longer bound by discrimination, but remains clear, serene, and at peace. We often become unsettled by constantly judging what is right and what is wrong. Yet when we choose to look within our own hearts instead of judging others, anger and worrying gradually begin to fade. A pure mind naturally reveals itself when we let go of comparison and attachment. Today, choose peace over judgment, and may you spend the day with a clear and tranquil heart, one who is pure like the moon, clear and free from all clouds, and who has completely removed attachment to sensual pleasures. That person I call a true practitioner. When the clouds disappear, the moon reveals its own light. In the same way as greed and attachment fade from the mind, our original clarity is restored. True practice is not about adding something from the outside, but about removing the defilements that cloud the heart. When we chase only momentary pleasures, the mind is easily shaken and satisfaction never lasts. When we let go of desire and become grateful for the life we have now, the mind grows calm and bright like moonlight. A clear mind already exists within us, and the more we release our attachments, the more clearly it reveals itself. Today, may you live your day with a heart as clear and serene as the moon, having crossed the difficult and painful path, gone beyond delusion and the current of rebirth, and reached the farther shore of existence. One whose mind is steady and free from desire and doubt, that person I call a true practitioner. The path of practice is never easy. It is a process of constantly looking within, facing the desires, fears, and attachments that arise in the heart. Yet one who has let go of these defilements gains a calm and unshakable peace that remains steady in any circumstance. In life, we encounter countless difficulties and moments of uncertainty, but when we release the attachments that hold our hearts bound, suffering gradually fades and freedom begins to emerge. Peace does not come from changing our surroundings, but from allowing the mind to remain in its rightful place. Today, may you continue walking the peaceful path with an unwavering heart, one who has completely abandoned the desires of this world, who has left home to wander, and has brought the life of craving to an end. That person I call a true practitioner. Leaving home here does not simply mean changing the place where one lives. It means making the courageous decision to let go of the desires and attachments that bind the heart, and to walk toward a new way of living. True freedom begins within the mind. What weighs us down most is the endless desire to have more. As we let go of our desires, one by one, the heart grows lighter, and we begin to find gratitude and contentment even in the smallest things. A life of letting go is not a life of loss, it is the path to discovering true happiness. Today, try releasing one desire and live this day with a lighter heart. One who has completely abandoned all attachment in this world, who has left home to wander, and has brought the life of attachment to an end. That person I call a true practitioner. Leaving home does not simply mean changing where one lives. It means freeing oneself from the attachments that bind the heart. When we let go of the urge to cling, a life of true freedom can finally begin. The more tightly we cling to people, possessions, thoughts, or even emotions, the greater our suffering becomes. When we allow what is passing to pass and accept this present moment just as it is, the heart naturally becomes lighter and more at ease. Letting go is not giving up, it is the wisdom to choose peace. Today, try releasing one attachment, and may you spend the day with a light and peaceful heart, one who has gone beyond every bond of the human world, who has even transcended attachment to the heavenly realms, and is bound by no attachment whatsoever. That person I call a true practitioner. To cut off attachments here does not mean abandoning our relationships with others. Rather, it means letting go of the mind that clings to what it likes and dislikes, and cultivating a freedom that is not shaken by circumstances or outcomes. We are easily carried away by people, work, success, and failure. Yet when we accept that everything is constantly changing, just as it is, attachment gradually fades and the heart becomes peaceful. True freedom does not come from abandoning every relationship, but from having a mind that is no longer bound by them. Today, choose freedom over attachment, and may you keep a peaceful heart throughout the day, one who has let go of both pleasure and pain, who remains ever mindful and free from defilement, and who has overcome all things in this world. That person I call a true practitioner. A true practitioner does not cling to joy, nor does one collapse in the face of suffering. Rather than being carried away by feelings of liking and disliking, they possess the wisdom to see things as they truly are. A mindful and awakened heart keeps defilements away and guides one toward true peace. Our minds easily become joyful or distressed depending on our circumstances. Yet when we understand that all emotions are only passing, currents that arise and fade away, the heart gradually becomes free. A mind that holds on to neither pleasure nor pain gives rise to genuine peace. Today, may you maintain an awakened and steady mind that remains unshaken in every moment, one who understands the coming and passing of all beings, who is free from attachment, and who lives rightly and reaches awakening. That person I call a true practitioner. To understand the nature of life and death means not fearing change, but deeply realizing that all things arise and transform according to conditions. A true practitioner does not cling to what must pass, but continues to walk the path of righteousness. We often find our hearts shaken by what we gain and what we lose. Yet when we realize that everything remains only for a while, attachment gradually fades away. When we live with a right mind and right actions, life becomes more peaceful and clear. Today, may you cultivate a wise heart that remains steady even amid change, one whose defilements have all come to an end, whose mind is no longer disturbed, whose trace cannot be known by gods, spirits, or human beings, one worthy of honor and respect. That person I call a true practitioner. To be free from all defilements means no longer being driven by the desires, fears, and attachments within the mind. When we even let go of the desire to make ourselves known, life becomes quieter and clearer. We all want to be recognized and remembered as a good person by others. Yet true peace begins when we free ourselves from the gaze and approval of others, when we no longer seek to be noticed, but quietly maintain a wholesome and upright mind. We move toward a deeper freedom. Today, let go of the desire to impress others, and quietly turn your attention inward. One who possesses nothing in the past, nothing in the future, and nothing in the present, who is empty-handed and free from attachment. That person I call a true practitioner. What matters in spiritual practice is not how much we possess. What truly matters is having a mind that is not consumed by what we own and is willing to let go at any time. Even with many possessions, one who is free from attachment is truly free. Yet even with little, one who is consumed by by desire will still suffer. When we gain something, we often become afraid of losing it and begin to long for even more. But when we gradually let go of what we hold in our hands, the heart becomes wider and freer. True abundance does not come from possessing more, but from having a free heart that is bound by nothing. Today, try letting go, just for a moment, of one thing you have been holding on to tightly. In the space you create by letting go, may you discover a new sense of peace, one who is strong and noble, likable, majestic and dignified, a wise sage and a conqueror, who has let go of desire and washed away the stains of the mind. That person I call a true practitioner. The strength of a true practitioner does not lie in defeating others. It lies in overcoming one's own greed, anger, fear, and attachment. A person who guides their life rightly through a clear mind and wisdom, rather than through outward appearance, is the true victor. At times, we think that being ahead of others or having more is what it means to win. But true victory is not being controlled by the desires within our own heart. When anger arises, we choose patience. When desire arises, we let it go. And even when our minds are shaken, we choose the right path. With each such choice, the mind becomes stronger and steadier. Today, rather than competing with others, try overcoming one desire within yourself and discover what true victory feels like. One who knows the events of past lives, who sees the heavenly realms and the realms of hell, who will never be reborn again. A master of wisdom, one who has fully awakened and accomplished all that is to be accomplished. That person I call a true practitioner. True wisdom is not simply knowing many things. It is a profound insight that sees the beginning and end of life, and even what lies beyond them. One who understands the nature of all phenomena, and is no longer driven by attachment and defilements, becomes free from the cycle of existence. We, too, can look back on our lives each day and examine what causes us suffering. When we do not cling to the past, do not fear what has not yet come, and learn to see the mind clearly as it is in the present, wisdom gradually begins to grow. Today, stay awake to every moment of life and take one step away from attachment